all second-hand cars are problematic. Can this car fit my lifestyle and not interrupt my lifestyle? That's number one. Talk to the people who own the car that you want to own. How is it like maintaining this car? Turn speculation and rumors into realities. The first used car will be the one that's most difficult. And after you've done one or two, it's like a walk in park. Hey guys, welcome to Keep It 100 Talks. And the reason I created this podcast, this talk, is because I believe conversations have such a great way to influence our life. There might be a conversation that you're listening in, or maybe somebody that you're talking to. And in those moments, something in that conversation triggered an inspiration, triggered a whole new set of actions, decisions that open up a whole new path for your life. It's like a little window that opens up to a whole new world. So I want to bring those meaningful conversations in a podcast like this. So we bring in people who are willing to share their journey, share their mindset, share their thoughts and knowledge revolving topics around mindset, money, and lifestyle. So with that, I got a favor to ask as well. If you ever find value in these conversations, please do us a big favor by subscribing to the channel and also sharing with your friends. Because I believe the larger the podcast grows, we're able to get more people onto this channel to provide you more value. All right, so thanks for watching this episode. And let's keep it 100. Let's keep it real. Let's have some really good conversations in Keep It 100 Talks. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Q&A session of Keep It 100 Talks. Right. So we've done a few sessions and we hear the audience. You guys like it. So let's do a bit more Q&A. And today we're going to talk about something that I like. Cars, right? So a lot of you may have some questions. I noticed there's a trend about worry around second-hand cars. And those of you who know me, all my personal cars that I have are all second-hand cars, recon cars. So I don't like to shop new. But there is a situation that will shop new. I'll cover that in the Q&A because some of you are asking this question. So I just want to first give a shout out to those who ask questions. So let me just see over here. This is Tanesh 095. Check this before buy a second-hand car, please. Here's stankhoo. What do you look out for in second-hand cars? Exoticsupercarmedia. How to find good seller tips and condition of cars. And I think just there's so many of you guys. Here's one. Young and Wise. Nice name. Okay. 19. Would you worry about engine break-in by the previous owner and transmission issue? Yeah. So it seems that there's a general worry about buying second-hand cars, and I want to address that by sharing with you how I view second-hand cars, what are my expectations, and what are my quote-unquote checklist, things that I look out for when I buy a car. And lastly, I just want to give a shout-out to YH15, and some of you may relate to him. Owning a first-hand car feels more personal and fulfilling than a second-hand one. Okay? Despite understanding the financial benefits of buying used, how can I overcome this feeling that the fear of continuing to repair a second-hand car, right? So I'll start with this one over here. First and foremost, there is this rumor, right? I don't know how this started, but there is general, rumor or impression that goes around that if you buy a second-hand car, then it's going to be disastrous, right? And while there are horror stories of buying terrible second-hand cars, but I would dare to say this, okay? This, of course, depending on a few things, the models, because some models are a bit more problematic than others, some car manufacturers more than the other. But if you do your due diligence, right, the chances of you getting a used car that's a lemon, right, we call it a lemon, which is problematic and all, is extremely low, okay? So I think, first and foremost, we need to get that out of mind, that not all second-hand cars are problematic, right? I've all my cars, and a lot of my car enthusiast friends, a lot of us are big fan of second car owners, right? So yes, so I'll guide you through some of the things that I look out for when I buy a second-hand car, right? So first of all, besides the maintenance, blah, 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 and so forth, I think the first thing that you must have in mind is the financial aspect of owning a second car. You must know how much the car costs, how much you can afford, how much are you willing to put in as, of your income per month to buy a second-hand car, right? So for me, whether it's new or second-hand, this is the first criteria, okay? I shouldn't have to sacrifice my lifestyle just to keep the car running, right? So that's the financial aspect of it, okay? So my typical rule of thumb is that I shouldn't spend more than 20% or 30% of how much I make per month, okay, into cars. Whether it all includes in road tax, maintenance, upkeep, loan, whatever, right? So this is more of a mindset of preserving my lifestyle. Because if I spend 20, 30% of, let's say I make 10,000, right? Then I still have 7K, right? And that also gives you space to pay your bills, right? Remember, guys, you still got to pay your bills, right? You're going to keep your phone running and stuff. And you still got to have, in my opinion, this is my opinion, I strongly urge everyone to do this, is to put aside at least 20 to 30% of your money into some savings or investments, right? To grow your wealth. All right. This is so important. I know it's a long topic. So that's the first thing. Even before looking at what model I want to buy, looking at whether it's new or used, can this car fit my lifestyle and not interrupt my lifestyle? That's number one. Now, the second thing is you got to do a little study on the brand. Okay. Now, never take blanket statements. There's people always say, oh, BMWs are all bad. Well, yes, there are horror stories of certain BMWs, but if you really look into the modern BMWs, and they're not as bad as they think it is, right? So first of all, we have to have this mindset of like, people are telling you all these things. Is it just a story, a second-hand story, a third-hand story, right? They typically not. And the only way to verify that, rather than taking it for face value, is do research, right? So listen to that, but don't just stop there. Do some research. Right? Talk to the people who own the car that you want to own. So let's say you want to buy a F30 330i, right? Go and talk to the people who own these cars. Go and talk to the workshops who fixes these cars, right? My friends down at Munich Precision, right? They are really great at BMWs. And you can ask them, hey, how's it like, maintaining this car? Is it big problems? And right there and then, you can turn speculation and rumors into realities, because these guys see many cars. And, of course, do it in a polite way, right? Not like, hey, tell me the information because I need to know. Say that I'm looking to buy a car. And if I do, I want to bring it here. Can you advise me that this model, is it problematic? If it does, what are the problems? Like for me, because of this knowledge, this blanket statement doesn't work on me, right? I know for a fact, let's say a BMW F30, with a B48 engine, right? The one... that engine and the pairing of the 8-speed ZF gearbox, I'm very confident it's a very bulletproof gearbox and engine, right? Of course, there are little things here and there, but the parts are very easy to find. How do I know this? Because I've done my research, right? I've spoken to people who've owned these cars. I've spoken to the workshops that own this car, right? So don't just stop at this blanket statement. Find out. Go and dive in, right? Now, on the flip side, if you get a new car, everything is like, there's this people's mindset is like, everything is on the company's, responsibility. They have to fix the car, the warranty is there, anything goes wrong, I can claim warranty, right? It's a valid point, right? If you're a person that don't have the time to do the research and don't really care, and the car for you is just an appliance, perhaps that's where a new car concept would be more valid. And the time that I bought a new car is when I bought a car for my mom, right? So we bought an XC40, okay? I want my mom to have the ability to just drive into Volvo and say, guys, there's this light here. I don't understand what this light is, right? Guys, my car has this issue. Can you fix it, right? So it's more for who's driving the car, right? My mom is not going to be an expert in trying to diagnose what's wrong with the car, right? So yes, enjoying used cars, specifically as the car gets older and older, you need to do more and more research, okay? So if you see it as appliance, perhaps it's good to get car warranties and get rid of the car once the warranty is done, right? But if you are a guy like me who want to enjoy cars, even outside of this age, like my Spider is what, now 9, almost 10 years, right? I plan to keep it, then do a little bit more research. Talk to people who own similar engines, similar platforms, talk to the workshops, do preventive maintenance, don't wait till everything spoils before you start changing it, right? So all of that, right? So, I think what makes you feel settled, this is to all the viewers who are afraid of used car, is to equip yourself with knowledge, do some research, okay? And give you a great peace of mind, okay? So that's very crucial, very, very crucial. And I guarantee you, the first used car will be the one that's most difficult. And after you've done 1 or 2, it's like a walk in the park, right? You won't panic, okay? But the few things I want you to consider as you look at used cars, I would consider is, used cars, especially when they're 5 years and older, do expect some things to change. In that perspective, one thing I always think about is this. If this is my daily car, means I need this car to function all the time, then the parts must be abundant, right? Hence why Japanese cars are famous amongst the common man in Malaysia, right? Because we want the car to go in the workshop and get out as fast as you can. So the parts must have no delay. Like if you're like me, you decided to drive a Fiat 500 as a daily car, you might not get the absorber you want. And for me, it took me 2 weeks for absorber to come from Europe. Right? So all these things must take in factor, you see. That's why I'm comfortable getting the Fiat 500, knowing that if something goes wrong, I don't mind waiting for 2-3 weeks, right? So what I'm trying to say is that you must understand every car, every manufacturer has its own turnaround time to fix it. So now it's not price. Now it's whether the car is usable or not, right? So all these things comes in factor, okay? So whether you use it, is it your only car? Then you must have fast turnaround time with your parts. If it's not your only car, it's your leisure car, perhaps you can take the risk of waiting 2-3 weeks for something to come or 5-6 days for it to come, right? So you must take in all these factors, okay? Make it about you. Make it work for you rather than listening to some uncle or some guy saying, oh, this car cannot, blah, 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 blah. I got friends who own Maseratis and they're notoriously known for problems. But they love their car because they know the expectation. They know how to find the parts and they're already ready. If something goes wrong, it's going to take some time, right? So it's all about knowledge, okay? And all about experience and knowledge. And your first car is always be the hardest. With that, the other thing that I always want to focus on, okay, before I move on to the next topic, is your pre-purchase inspection. To say that, oh, is this car reliable or not? Yes, we can do a general broad brand study, but is this specific car that you're looking at, is it good or not good? It always comes down to what my friend from the Porsche Lover, Adrian Mark, he says, the 3 C's, condition, condition, condition. That's all, right? Don't care about the age, don't care about the mileage, whatever. A lot of people get freaked out around mileage. Look at the condition of this actual car, right? It's like, how do I give a metaphor? For example, like I'm trying to date a woman. Like all girls come from let's say from Help College, like this one, right? Maybe there is a general consensus around it, but that one girl in front of you, she could be entirely different than all the other girls in Help College, right? So you got to treat the car you buy individual, right? So with that, you got to go to do your research, inspection on that car. Now, that becomes slightly tricky, right? Because we are not mechanics, we are not experts. We need to rely on a reliable workshop, right? So in my opinion, if you're buying a second-hand car, it's always worth the money to do a pre-purchase inspection. That's going to cost you some money, right? They're going to highlight if the car have gotten an accident, if the car had any foul play. Sometimes, the ones that I know, like say in Prestige, big shout out to Prestige Car Care, they can tell if the mileage has been tampered by very simple things. A very skilled mechanic can tell you. They can see, well, you look at the bushings, they look kind of old, but the mileage looks kind of young, right? So when there is a discrepancy, they will start asking questions, right? So but a good PPI costs money, right? You don't expect it to be free, but you pay it as my due diligence, right? So all used cars, please don't skimp your money on PPI. Make sure you do it, okay? And someone might even say, what if the seller doesn't let you do PPI? Walk away. Walk away, right? It's not, it might be a great car, it might be a lemon. We don't know, right? But just get the PPI. Because once you get the car is in your name, it's entirely your responsibility. You got to figure everything out yourself, right? So the way to prevent yourself to get into an issue is do a PPI. Okay? And of course, how you get the PPI, you have to talk to the seller, right? I have no hard and fast rule, be a gentleman about it. Don't say like, oh, it's my right. I only pay you deposit if I get the car. Work it out properly, okay? We are gentlemen too, okay? So I hope that answers your question. For me, those are how I deal with used cars, okay? Unless there's a car that's really rare and there's no other car around and you are actually on the other end of the stick, right? You want the car and you buy any car, right? There's a different story, okay? Okay, next. This question comes a little bit more on money. Henry.goi is asking, should I put down 50% deposit on a 200,000 second-hand car? Good idea or not? I think this is a very personal answer. For me, I wouldn't, right? I just tell you straight up, I wouldn't. Because I know for whatever money I put in and the interest occurred, I can do better with my investment choices, right? So if I can output, for example, like if the minimum down payment is 10%, which is 20,000 ringgit, now you're going to pay additional 80,000 ringgit. That's like 4 times more, right? what could you do with the 80,000 ringgit? Now, if you have no clue what to do with 80,000 ringgit, then okay, maybe it's a good idea to put it in down there. Okay, that will help you reduce your risk, and reduce your repayment every single month. But if I know I can make, say, 8% per annum, right, over the next 5-10 years, right, then I rather take the 80,000 and put it in an investment vehicle that gives me a good return, because that will outperform the interest payments. That's a personal choice. Okay. I would think the more important way to, now we're talking about loans, right? And this is a touchy subject. Some people say, if you can't buy the car cash, you shouldn't buy cash. No, but I'm also of the opinion that if you can buy the car cash, you don't need to buy the car cash too, right? Again, it's a lot about using the money. Money is a tool, right? If I put 300K in a car, the car depreciates, for example. Let's say if it depreciates, right? But if I put 30% down payment, which is maybe 100,000 on the car, and I can take 200 into an appreciating asset class, real estate, paper asset, right? Now, then I've got a better deal than just rather putting cash, right? So you gotta, I guess the question to answer over here, henry.goi, is to really think there's no hard and fast rule. What works for you, right? And I'm pro capital growth. I'm pro making your money work for yourself, right? Work for you, put it in the right place, right? So that's just my opinion. The only occasion that I might increase my down payment is when I want to make sure that if I exit my loan within 1 or 2 years, I don't have to fork out cash to settle my loan, right? Maybe in those cases I would, but typically I won't. I would usually ensure that the price is right to make sure that I get this kind of situation. Rather than paying more down payment, I wait for the right price so that I can exit at the right time. So some people compensate by paying more down payment. I like to compensate or to reach that by having an entry at a lower price, right? Buying a lower price allows me to sell low. It means I can resist more depreciation, right? So yes, I can't answer the question for you, henry.goi. Personally, Thomas Yap, I don't think it's a good idea, right? For you, maybe it's a good idea. So on the subject of loan, maybe I want to share with you a little bit of how I look at loans. And again, this is not professional advice. This is how I would do things and how I view things. Okay. So I think it's very important not to just look at, yes, for me, the first thing is to see if it fits within my 20-30% of my income. That's just to manage my livelihood and my cash flow, right? But then you have to look at another element, which is risk management and risk mitigation. Okay. So this is, again, for me, okay. The first question I would ask, the strongest way to prevent any risk happening to me, right, is to ensure that I have the cash to settle the loan at any given point of time, right? So you can make a quick phone call to your bank and ask them, hey, if I were to settle my loan today, how much do I have to pay? They give you a rebate, right? And then if I have equivalent amount of net worth, right, or liquidable assets to that, means that at any given time I want to settle, I can settle. If I have that, that's the highest level of risk mitigation, right? Means that you have the power to settle. I think this is the right word, right? A lot of fund managers, they look at companies and they see whether this company has the power to settle their loans. So for me, after I sort out my lifestyle, means that I don't cut out my lifestyle. The second thing is that, do I have the power to settle? Now, it's not the end of the world if I have no power to settle. Then the second question I will ask is, can my 1 year of, do I have enough savings to handle 1 year's worth of installments or 6 months worth of installments, right? That's what I call the ability to suspend if you lose your income. So 6 months I don't get paid, I got 6 months to, I can still hold on to the car for 6 months or 12 months. So there's like a temporary risk mitigation. So if I can't settle the loan completely, do I have 6 months runway? Do I have 12 months runway, right? So sometimes I think that's another important thing to deal at. The ideal situation is, number one, shouldn't be more than 20% or 30% of your income. And number two, you must have the cash ready to settle your loan. That's the ideal. That's the perfect, that's like utopia, right? But it's not always the case, right? So for me, if I can't hit the utopia, the second level down is 3 months, 6 months, right? Or maybe 1 year for entrepreneur, right? Because we have income that goes up and down, right? So at least 1 year parked aside. on mixed investments or even something very liquid. You can take the money out anytime and make sure that those investments are capital defensive. Means that you don't risk your capital and lose a lot of money. So if you're taking a 300,000 ringgit loan, I think it's good to have a 300,000 ringgit worth of your net value, in liquidable assets, things that are defensive, mix of like, good commodity. I want to go in the details of it, right? So you want to sort of look yourself as, okay, is this guy not kacau his lifestyle, and this guy has the ability to settle his loans. Right? So I think this gives people, I think it gave me more confidence to use loans. Right? A lot of people are afraid of loans. They hear of all these stories again, blanket statements. Oh, look at this guy, blah blah blah. Right? Then you must go individual. Right? So that's how I play defensively with my car finances. Right? So that gives me a peace of mind when I drive. I'm okay. Right? And of course, as everybody, watching this show, I do wish that you also focus on increasing your income, right? Because we can't control expenses, we can always control our income, right? Our income is not finite. There's so many ways to make money. Go outside and learn. There's so many ways. Okay? All right, so let's end this Q&A with something a little bit more fun. We talk about money, finances, and stuff like that, and my personal opinions about it. Let's talk about something. I know we don't really talk about cars during Keep It 100. That's more on my personal channel. But, why the heck not? Let's just talk about cars. Okay, question. This is a very common question. This is from V Kuhan 28. M2 competition or Z4 3.0 or the Supra 3.0, which is the Supra, right? The latest Supra, or the Cayman 2.5, right? Fortunately, I've driven all of it except for the Z4 3.0. I've been a passenger in the Z4 3.0. Let's start by saying something first. I know this may be a bit controversial. The only car among this mix that is not a sports car is an M2 competition. I know it sounds crazy because I used to own one. You must always remember that M2 is massaged from a passenger car from the 1 Series, 2 Series. They massaged into an M2 competition, right? They did a great job, fantastic. But one of the things that I came to conclude about sports cars is that there should be an experience, and one of it is sitting really low in the car. And the M2, sometimes I feel like I'm sitting on the car instead of inside the car, right? And when you sit in something like Supra, does get a little bit. It's still actually it's a nice sitting position. And the Cayman, right? You get in there, you feel like, wow, I'm really in a sports car. The Z4 platform, which is shared with Supra, was built as a sports car ground up. So yeah, it's a really good car. I test drive the Supra lately, the manual one. You can see in my personal page. Fantastic car, great engine. The only thing that I don't quite like about the car is the looks. That's personal opinion, right? Look at me, I don't have great fashion sense anyways, but follow me what I say. But the other thing, follow me if you like to, if you follow my fashion sense. This is me. It's just a bit toyish for me. The one thing that the only critique I have around the Supra is the steering wheel and the suspension on the rear. Is just too harsh. It feels like I'm being tossed around in a salad. It's really exciting, but I think as maybe my choice of cars, maybe a little bit too exuberant, in the car. That's just my opinion. I think the Z4 is much better, more pliant, maybe because the car is less stiff, right? Cayman 2.5, fantastic car, right? So, okay, if I were to choose between all these cars, I probably go for either a Boxster 2.5, not the Cayman, because the convertible makes a big sense, or the Z4 more than the Supra, right? Because the ability to have the top down. One of my favorite things about motoring is being able to have the alfresco motoring. Okay, so yeah, hope you enjoyed this session. I had fun answering your questions, and let me know if there's any more questions you'd like to ask. Ask down in the comments below. And yeah, if you want to talk to me, you can reach out to me on Instagram, and Instagram handle is there. You can connect over there, hang out over there. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And as always, keep it 100. Love you guys, and peace out. If you're looking for a way to increase your income and looking for different business to do, I know what most of you are thinking. It's a lot of risk, it's a lot of capital involved. I don't know what to do. And that's why I created Team Infinity Academy, where we not only provide a way for people to get into the business world without forking a lot of capital, but we also provide the education and the vehicle. We have a way that I use to make my money, right? This is the business I run. And I want to teach people how to utilize my business to build a life of their dreams. Now, if you're interested to find out more, there is a preview. We're looking for the right business partners. And inside that business discovery session, you'll find out how this business can support you to build the life that you want to live. If you're interested to find out more, link in the description below. and sign up for one of our webinars. Will be mostly hosted by myself. See you there.